Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I'm going to be picking the lures and bait that are going to go into my GoTo Tackle Box. A GoTo Tackle Box is a tackle box that, regardless of the lake, pond, reservoir, or even river, you're going to take it every single time. These are your most confident baits, the baits that catch you the most fish, and the baits that you know how to throw the best. They're usually a little bit different for every single one, but right now I'm going to show you the ones that I would put in. There's no real physical tackle box to this. It's more of an idea rather than a physical tackle box. The reason I say that is because, if I say 10 baits and you can't fit 10 baits into a tackle box, it wouldn't exactly make sense. This is just going to be my baits that I would put in my GoTo Tackle Box. The first bait in my GoTo Tackle Box is a football head jig. This is like a green pumpkin, a blue almost, like maybe like a blue pumpkin, something like that. And I have a cream craw trailer on. I really like the cream craw trailer just because I find that's the perfect length, and I really like the way those pinchers are shaped. I choose this color because it'll catch you fish in clear water, especially murky water, and football headed jigs just tend to work like everywhere, and any time of year, any lake, any reservoir, any pond, jigs will do good, especially football jigs. So there's really no getting around it. This is in my GoTo Tackle Box and should probably be in each one of yours. This lure has personally caught me the most fish in my life and caught me some of my biggest. This is the square bill crankbait. This is a Googan Squad banger in a sexy shag color. It dives 2 to 5 feet, as you can see right there, which is a really good distance because in any pond it'll catch you fish, especially in the spring, summertime, fall. And in some shallow lakes it will catch you fish, and even maybe reservoirs. It catches me bass all year round. I really like the way it looks. This color pattern is my favorite, and it's a bait that's been known to catch fish all year round, all around the country by bass anglers, and it should be in your GoTo Tackle Box as well as it's in mine. Now, for my next lure, it's kind of a 3-in-1. They're all similar lures. They're all very similar baits, but not identical. These are all stick baits or Senkos, although Gary Yamamoto has that trademarked. If we look at the first one, this is like a cream colored 4-inch Senko. I believe it's a Crazy Craft Baits 4-inch super stick. And these are really good for like a drop shot or a shaky head. They're more of a finesse type of a Senko. I definitely fish these in the spawn. Matter of fact, this lure right here with this white Senko caught me my PB in my last video. And I'm going to link that right up here. It was on a bed and it was almost a 4, maybe 4.5 pounder, but that just goes to show that the white 4-inch Senko does super good all year round, all around the country. So this is in mine, it should be in yours. Next we have a 5-inch Weston stick bait. Now the thing I like about this is it has a really pointy tail, so that allows it to have some really crazy action. And I really like the blue, the two-tone blue and black color because it's really good in murky water, which there is a lot of murky water around the United States, especially in the South where fishing is more prominent. And I really like that this bait has a hook slot so you don't tear your bait up as easily. This is a little bit more oddly shaped. It's one of your more unique stick baits, but I really like this one, as well as the 4-inch Senko. And now lastly, we have your pretty standard, this is a Googan Lunker log, but 6 inches, a pretty standard stick bait. Your average shape. This is a watermelon red color, 6 inches again, as I said earlier. There's some ribs on it. It does have that flat part there where your hook can go through. Flat on one side, pointy on the other. There's not anything really great about the Senko, more of just it's really solid all the time. So it may not be as good as some other lures sometimes, but the Senko, one of the most confident baits in fishing, probably my most confident bait to throw. I've caught so many fish off of it, not necessarily giant fish, but definitely a lot of fish. And I would throw this any lake, any reservoir, any pond around the United States and probably catch a few fish off of the stick bait. The 7.5-inch curly tail worm. Other than the stick bait, it may be one of the most recognized baits in fishing. This iconic Texas rig shape, it's just seen everywhere around the fishing world. So many logos have this integrated in it, and especially this color. A tip for all of you, I found that reds, plums, purples, and even like pinks all do super, super well for Texas rigs. I don't know what it is about it. Like those blues and blacks, other kinds of lures, they'll definitely work, but I really, really prefer like maroons, maybe a really dark plum when I throw a Texas rig. This is probably my most favorite bait to throw in fishing. One of at least one of my favorite lures. I've caught so many fish off of it last year. It's insane how many I've caught. So this should be in your GoTo Tackle Box. If it's not, it needs to be. To kind of piggyback off of that, this is a 10-inch Yum Ol' Monster. It's another curly tail worm, definitely bigger, but again, that red color, this is like a red plum with a little bit of blue sparkle in it just to add some more pizzazz. And again, this is very similar to the 7.5-inch one. Yeah, but I believe this is 10 inches, and it will probably catch you more fish, but the thing about this is it won't catch you more fish necessarily, because small fish will definitely eat this, but like a 7 or 8-inch fish, we don't like to catch them, but they're still fun. We'll probably not eat this. This is pretty similar to this, so I'm going to count this as the same bait as that one. Yet another soft plastic. This is the Yum finesse worm. This is a June bug color. Now the reason I like June bug for finesse worms, I don't know what it is about finesse worms, but usually it's when the bass are a little more finicky in colder water, sometimes maybe deeper. And I find that with the lack of sunlight in the deepest parts of the water where I'll be throwing this, darker colors tend to do better. So I really like throwing the June bug. I mean, everyone's thrown a finesse worm before in their life. If you haven't, you should really give it a try. They're definitely worth it. I really, really like the Yum finesse worm. This lure is one of the most interesting looking lures in all of fishing. It is the lizard. Now, it's a pretty crazy looking lure. It has a little bit of that curly tail like a worm. It has a little bit of flappers like a creature bait. And it has the slender body of a stick bait. It's kind of a mix of all three. But I really, really like these because you can almost swim it over the top, almost like a toad. It's pretty incredible what you can do with this. You can like swim it just in the water and it'll swim exactly like a swim bait. Or you can just fish it exactly like a curly tail worm. I've done all three methods with it, and I found that it catches you a lot of fish all the time, all year round. One of my most favorite ways to fish, just because it's so unique, not a lot of anglers throw the lizard, and it's definitely a lure that you should get more practice with. I mentioned it a little bit prior. This is the creature bait, like a punch bug almost. You can flip this, you can put it on a Texas rig, you can swim it, you can just hop it off the bottom. I don't want to say it's a craw, because I tend to think of something more like this when I think of a true craw, and I'm just going to put this in here real quick as an honorable mention. Just your standard craw, you can Texas rig it. It's really, really good. I'm not going to speak a lot on it because this is about the creature bait, but this is what I think of more as a true craw. This is more of a creature bait, but they're very, very, very similar. Back to the creature bait. I like this two-toned Okeechobee craw color. Has blue on one side, black on the other. This is a Strike King Rage bug, I believe. But the thing I like about this is because it's so slightly different from the craw that if a fish isn't biting on a craw, it could definitely bite on this. But it's similar enough that if a fish was biting on craws all day, it would definitely bite on this too. So you get the best of both worlds. And I usually will hop this off the bottom over rocks, and rarely do I ever swim it, but I guess you could with these flappers and these. They could go back and forth, almost look like a minnow. But the reason I put it on here is because so many tournament anglers, so many fishermen all around the United States, all around the world actually, throw this and catch really, really big fish on it. And if you don't have your hands on one, you're going to want to get some. That is the creature bait. This video was mainly used to represent that while time, conditions, location, weather, and even time of year can play a very, very large part into catching fish, there are a select number of lures and baits that will catch you fish year-round, no matter the lake, no matter the pond, no matter the reservoir, all around the United States, all around the world, any time of year they'll catch you numbers and probably good quality fish. Now, there are several others, but they're just too condition dependent, like the jerk bait. You only throw that in windy, cloudy conditions, usually. or like the buzz bait. Usually you'll throw it on a more of a windy day and more in the spring and summer where you can't really throw it in the winter. And another lure that I thought about putting on this list, the spinnerbait. Now the reason I didn't put it on is because there is so much variance and you usually don't throw it year round. Usually you'll throw it in a select number of months and in select conditions. But if you've made it this far in the video, please subscribe for more fishing content. I'm going to be posting fishing videos every single Thursday. Please hit that notification bell so that you will be notified every single time I make a video. And like the video if you enjoyed it. I really had a great time making it. Now the reason I had to post one of these videos this week is because I wasn't able to go fishing this past weekend, but I should be able to this weekend. The weather's looking good, so next Thursday, stay tuned for another fishing video. But other than that, I don't have much to say. I'll see you in the next upload.